McBurgren.
Kyle Busch is fast. His car is fourth quick on the board, Mike, but he is in the garage. They are working on the nose of the car. He's a bit loose, and the car tends to shoot up the racetrack. And I want to add this, if I may. America, if you need a feel-good story, if you want to get rid of the gloom and doom that you've been reading in the newspapers, come on to Daytona. We had 56 cars take time on Sunday afternoon in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. We've got 50 cars in the Nationwide garage. I've just left the truck garage. It's packed. They've got a terrific feel. So all those who said there weren't going to be cars at Daytona, you got it wrong. The racers have come. They're here. They're here to race this coming weekend. And as for the fans, I talked to Robin Bragg this morning. They are near a sellout for the Daytona 500. So all those people who thought there were going to be tons and hundreds and thousands of empty seats, you missed it. The fun is here. This is where America's upbeat story is. Come on to Daytona this weekend.
Couldn't have said it better.
I'll tell you the other thing I really am feeling in the garage and everywhere around this, down there in the pits and everywhere else, is the camaraderie is tighter this year than it's ever been before. I hear the haves are really trying to help the have-nots. The information is flowing for your dude. You know, to Joe Nemechek, I need to borrow a shock package, and the shocks are expensive, and they're willing to help these guys to get through this race. So I feel it's a lot of good feel-good stuff going on here.
There are 15 single-car teams here in Daytona. Many of them, like Joe Nemechek's, were formed from the bones of teams that merged or dissolved at the end of last season. And of the 1,000 or more racing-related jobs that were lost, quite a number of people have come to small shops like Joe's or like Tommy Baldwin's and say, hey, need any help? I'd like to help out. I want something to do. I want to help out on your car. If you can pay me something, that's great. Otherwise, I want to be involved. I want to see you do well. So there are a lot of these little seedlings and sprouts that are trying to make the race, as long as some established single-car operations like that one of James Finch or this one of the Wood brothers.
It's kind of like going to Vegas with a couple $100s in your pocket. Don't sit down at a table where they're playing for thousands of dollars. Go to a blackjack table where you can sit there and play all night on $200. And that's kind of what you got going on here.
And, of course, if you can qualify for the Daytona 500, you're guaranteed roughly about $250,000. So that's a great start.
Well, it's a good start, but it pretty much just maybe puts you back even.
Yeah.
So now so then you got to go to the next one and the next one.
Well, estimates of the cost to come down here.
I'm pretty happy with this right here.
And try to make the Daytona 500.
10-4, let's get clear when you can.
The number I've heard most often is right around $100,000 to come here and just to come down and try to make the race.
Yeah,
and that probably doesn't count a lot of the capital investment
right.
of the equipment and the tools and even the car and the engines you need to bring down here.
Well, you can buy these cars, some of these cars, pretty cheaply from teams that have gone to another generation car. Maybe, let's just say a car costs $50,000, you might be able to buy it for $10,000 or $12,000. And then you can take it home and make all the improvements on it. Engines, you got to search around and find you an engine deal. And that's one of those things that sometimes you can't get the top of the line because you can't afford it. But you got an engine. And it's not a bad engine.
Riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now. He is 21st in this practice session. He's run a total of 11 laps. Had a car in the Budweiser shootout the other night that was fast, but he just couldn't stay up there. Led the most laps, but his car was not good when he would get some laps on the tires. I'm sure that Tony Eury Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., even though this is a totally different car, they have totally learned a lot from that race. And you can just see right there, we've been talking about running around here wide open. You can see it on the tack and the miles per hour. It just does not change that much around this racetrack.